Hey, we're here today with John Wooton and Lalo Davila, longtime friends, percussion associates. Yeah, these guys have been very active as clinicians, educators, both in the United States and abroad. And we're just kind of wondering, do you guys find that there's any challenges as far as the educators in terms of what they face on a daily basis out there? Whether it's here or abroad, you guys have both been to numerous places. So, you want to start?
Well, I don't know about challenges. I see it more like now there's a lot of things that are just a lot easier because of the internet, because of YouTube and social media. And then travel is just easier as well to get to places. And then, of course, and they have that information. So I saw that question. I was like, difficulties. Actually, I think everything's a lot easier now.
It's not that.
It's not that. It's the opposite. It's like compared to when we were studying in college, we didn't have all that access to all these things.
Right.
And it was very difficult to travel. It's very expensive. It can still be, but it's a lot easier, I think.
Progress.
Well, I'm going to agree with what he just said. In terms of the challenges, if that's what we are looking for, it would be to try to teach everything in 4 years of college. You know, back in the day, maybe somebody could just specialize in one thing and be good at one thing. Nowadays, they got to be good at everything,
right?
Like even more so than before, if they want to be marketable and that sort of thing, regardless what major they happen to be in.
Right.
But it's challenging, but yet still easier because of the advent of YouTube, like he says, and all the other YouTube channels that are out there, including ours.
I remember, like when I was trying to get into, actually, I did not go into music school right out of high school. I couldn't read music, so I went to Westchester and did 1 year in a marching band, figuring that I could, try to learn how to read and whatnot. And when I did my audition, there is absolutely no way I would have ever made it if I was doing it today by the standards of what is expected from the students that you guys teach. So yeah, things are. It's a little different out there, in terms of the range of what they're expected to learn.
Well, I feel the same way. I mean, earlier we were talking about how there's even 15-year-olds and even younger playing material that people are preparing for their master's recital, and you go, oh my God.
Yeah. Mind-boggling. And you guys, you must see this on a daily, weekly basis as far as...
Oh yeah, and these are decisions we have to make and the students have to make. You can't teach everything. It's impossible. So we each, all the different college professors in percussion have to choose, what they're going to teach. Of course, some things we're expected to teach, like, concert, snare drum, keyboards, timpani, or drum set. We all have our own way of teaching, I think. So I think it's real important for students to get to know the college professor. Don't go to college because you like the football team, unless you play football. That'd be a good reason. But if you're going to be a percussionist and a music major, I think find the percussion professor that you want to study from and what he's into. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions.
Here's another question. Talking about the increase in the use of electronic musical instruments, and say even more specifically percussion instruments. How do you guys see that affecting maybe the more traditional, instruments that we're accustomed to teaching, performing on and such? Is it changing, and you guys both write music, is it changing how music's written? Is it changing your view on how you are preparing students to get out and be professionals?
On what I do and on my writing with regards to the use of electronic percussion and particularly keyboard, like the Malice Station, for example, I don't worry about wanting a particular sound when they can get it through that particular device. Now, some people might have that, some people might not have that, but I also put optional they can use this other thing. So I think it's been a great addition to composers and to school programs who may or may not have a bass player. And hey, no worries, we got this mallet station. You plug it into the computer and you, whatever GarageBand, whatever you want to use for your device, and you're ready to rock and roll. So I think it's been really good. Now, as far as also gigging, I mean, unless you've got somebody not a handyman, but somebody to help you move gear. I mean, the electronic mallet station is much easier to move than most other.
Portability
Yeah, I mean,
is a plus.
if you can move the others, great, because we want, to still be strong advocates for the natural instruments. But
Sure.
But again, I think it allows the ability to be able to play in venues which perhaps like a coffee house or whatever, where the venue might be too small to bring in a big instrument. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were asking how does it affect like acoustical instruments? It doesn't. It's just different, and talking about evolution, evolving. We're all always evolving, technology, all the things that we have to deal with in technology, just in our career, in our lifetime, it's going to multiply much quicker. The evolution is going to be even faster, like within the next 5 years. So we're trying to keep up with it just as much as the students. I mean, in fact, a lot of times the students, they're young and they know a lot more about the stuff than I do, and I learn from them. So,
Sure.
And I love that. I love learning from my students, and I love the whole environment where everybody's just trying to figure things out, man.
Yeah.
And we come up with some pretty cool stuff with the, like with the pads and with all the different sounds you can get. I'm working on a show right now where I'm using synth and bass, and I need all those sounds that are not acoustic sounds.
Right. So you're finding it augments.
It augments.
Yeah. As opposed to it being, oh, this is something we need to be concerned about. Yeah. Well, and we haven't even talked about like the impact of AI, and of course, talk about something that is rapidly changing. I don't even know if we can get our finger on the pulse of that thing.
You just gotta wait and see what happens. Hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. Hope for the best. Right. Okay. How about like accessibility to your schools, to your programs over the years? Have you seen any kind of progress, or where kids can gain access to the university level, through assistance, outside assistance, or you finding that that's something that is more part of your job? Like, do you have to help these kids get in the door?
Well, we've just had a big discussion about it there here at the university, and we as faculty, we're not necessarily trained to be able to walk a student or prospective student through the financial aid, but we have those tools, and by tools I mean links on our website, where students can seek out opportunities for them to be able to come to school if in fact they do need some financial assistance of any sort. I know that in Tennessee, I think this is still the case, a student can attend a junior college, as they call it, a community college, for free, and then they take their gen eds and all that,
right,
and then they can transfer there to a 4-year institution, regardless.
That's big.
Yeah, so it's huge. So I don't think that if a student really wants to come to any university, they will figure it out.
Find a way.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're lucky enough that they got the parental support, the family support, in any way, and I'm not even talking about financial, just to be there for them and help them find these solutions. And by helping, it could just be an email or a phone call to somebody that probably knows more than what they do.
Yeah, I would say to any students out there that are thinking about college and going into majoring in music, there are financial advisors at every university to help you with grants or loans or whatever, financial needs for that sort of thing. So don't feel that that's something you can't do or intimidated by it. Also, I've heard, people are intimidated by our program or something like that. And please just audition. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I think anytime you audition, you're getting great experience.
Absolutely.
So, we both have full studios. I've had a full studio for years, so I don't see any problems. Nobody's having any problems getting into school. And some students struggle financially, of course.
Yeah.
But that's,
So
always
for
gonna
those
be
of
the
you
case.
out there that are interested,
Go for it.
go for it. It's
Go for it.
absolutely.
Go
Yes,
for it.
There's help out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Now you guys have both been teaching for quite some time at your respective institutions, and I'm sure, I don't know if you are doing it now. I believe, John, you may have mentioned something about this, but the percussion methods class, and I'm sure, Lalo, if you're not doing it, you've done it, I'm sure, to get things going. But can you speak to anything about how you see, I guess, the role of the percussion methods class in the education for probably the non-percussionist? Clearly it's important. Everybody's kind of needing that in terms of their curriculum requirements, but maybe you guys can speak to the things that stand out for you that you feel are kind of highlight needs for people that are going to get out and be a band director, and they're a trumpet player, they're a tuba player, whatever they are. So,
Well, number one, there's tons of resources online. If you don't know how to do something, then you can find it online. One of the things, no, I don't teach the percussion method class full time, but I will go in and maybe talk about the hand percussion stuff, the Latin percussion stuff, or any other particular topic. But it's usually one person teaching it and other people coming in and talking about different topics. I do know this based on what I've seen on social media with regards to people that are band directors that are not percussionists, that one of their beefs about percussion methods class is that they weren't taught how to fix something, or how to even as much as change a drum head. And timpani is huge there as well, and how to change a timpani head and all that. So, but
even if we know what we're doing,
yeah, even us, right?
I'm intimidated by changing a timpani head, no matter how many times you did it.
So, in our particular situation, the methods class meet 3 times a week for 14 weeks in a semester, and even then, that's not a lot of time. It's you cover marching percussion with these people. I mean, they're not going to write the music because they have writers, and these days everybody hires out.
Sure.
But at least to give them the knowledge of how everything functions and that sort of thing. But what do you do when a harness breaks? How do you fix those sorts of things that because not everybody has a percussion specialist.
Right.
And so they have to figure things out. But again, a phone call to a percussion specialist, an email to a percussion, or again, there's social media pages out there dedicated to non-percussion band directors.
Mm-hmm. Keep those percussion guys on speed dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to say something.
Well, my class has evolved. I teach the percussion methods class. In fact, I'm teaching it this semester. And it has evolved. We started, using the big percussion methods book, and very academic, have a test, they have to, study and take the test. I don't do that anymore. I just get them as involved as possible. Like just last week, I had the percussion methods learn one of our street beats by the drumline, and they had to go and play it in public for the drumline show before the last home game. And they loved it. Of course, there's a watered-down version.
Yeah.
But they're excited. So I gotta get them excited. The next thing we're working on is our mallet arrangements. That there's a few percussion majors in the class. I make them arrange it. They come and they have to teach it. They play it, and so there's a process there. And I think the biggest thing I try to teach or show by example is for them to understand that they have to teach their students by example. The best way to teach is by example. The best way to learn is to imitate. And if you don't play and show, then you're not teaching. So keep playing, keep doing this stuff. Make it fun, and make it fun for your students. You're gonna enjoy your job a lot more if you enjoy it and the students are having fun.
Yeah. Having fun.
Having fun. So we're doing that with all the different, we do a Latin ensemble, the mallet ensemble, and we teach all the instruments going along. So the ranges of the instruments and how to change a head and stuff like that. But yeah, that's changing a tippity head's
Oh my
difficult
God. Yeah, it is.
for anybody.
Yeah, it is.
I know you asked specifically about non-percussion band directors and so forth, but actually, for the percussion methods class teachers that are watching and perhaps listening, John, a great idea. Our methods classes are in the spring. We don't have any in the fall, so that's a great idea.
Okay.
We just do it in the fall, not in the spring.
So in the spring, Brian Mueller, another Pearl artist, he has them playing the percussion ensemble concert.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
it's a blast.
Yeah.
Everybody has a blast, and it's guaranteed big audience. So
Absolutely.
That's big. You don't realize how big that is. If they have fun in the class, that's a huge impression. Than having to sit down and take a test and then getting a good grade back, with a bunch of red marks.
Yeah.
That's not impressionable. That's
right.
Well, it is negatively, But that
could be, yeah.
Some great tips from two experts here. John, Lalo, thank you so much
Thank you.
being with us here today.
Thom,
Really appreciate your time and your wisdom. So.
Absolutely.
thank you.